Good evening, folks. Greetings of the day, wherever you are joining us from. I hope you're able to hear me loud and clear. And likewise, you can see we're going to do a complete hands-on. Today, we're going to do a workshop. Now, you'll be wondering, how do I get to this link? All I want you to do is scan this QR, which I'm trying to show you on the screen. You can scan this QR to join that workshop. Okay. I want you to have an AWS account if in case you want to do hands-on along with me, or you can sit back and see the way I'm implementing and I'm demonstrating this workshop with you. Once again, I would say, I want you to have an AWS account for you to work along with me to do this particular workshop. Else, you can see me doing the lab. I'll explain you how am I going to do it. I'll break it down first on whiteboard, then the steps, and then I'll implement it on the console. In the interest of time, since we have to do it in 1 hour, I may wait for you to finish that initial steps of setup. I want you to acknowledge or confirm whether you're able to do it or not in the chat. My eyes are there on the chat as well. Okay, so requesting you to scan this QR so as to join this workshop. And once you're
So
able
no
to,
worries, Shashank.
yeah,
You can continue on the workshop. If there are any questions, I'll
you will take it
probably
up.
yeah,
Awesome,
I'll
awesome.
interrupt and let you know. Yeah.
Done, done. Okay, okay. So once again, hello folks. I'm going to help you how to first set up the lab. Well, before that, let's understand what are we going to learn today and what are we going to dive deep into. Okay. So likewise, I'll always do a quick whiteboarding so as to help you out to understand what are we going to learn today. As you can see, there are 4 labs. We are going to begin with second, third, and fourth one to begin with. Okay, so what are we going to do, folks, is we are first going to understand what is Bedrock all about. We are then going to dive deep into something which is called as knowledge base. After knowledge base, we are going to talk about something that is called as agents. And lastly, I'm going to talk about guardrails, and we are going to do this all of it into action. Once again, if you're preparing for AI practitioner, hands-on knowledge is good to have. But if you cannot do it along with me, it's okay to watch and be observant. Trust me, you would be understanding that I am hinting at few important topics which you need to know while we're doing this lab. Okay, fine, right? Now, if you're doing it in your AWS account, the prerequisite will be you need to do some setup. You need to do some prerequisites, and after that, we are going to do that is lab 2, 3, and 4. Okay, which will be covering these particular topics. Fine. Okay, how to join? I have shown that to you. Okay, how to join? I have shown that to you. This is the QR code. If you've joined late, scan it up and you will be landing over here. Now, while you're doing it along with me, and if you're doing it via your AWS account, right? So you need to first download this particular cloud formation, and you will have to download the CFT template and run in your AWS account. Okay, fine. Cool. Please understand, you're going to deploy some resources, so it's going to cost something to you. And hence, I'm telling you that we are going to install something which is a database. The database may be RDS. Along with that, we are going to put these services into action, which is going to accrue certain amount of dollars. And so if it is a trial account, please ensure that you are killing the resources or you are cleaning up the resources once we are done with this particular workshop. Okay, so please download the CFT template, install it in your AWS account, and once you're done with the workshop, you want to clean up the resources, please go to this particular tab and clean up. Two things are very important: setting up and nuking the resources or killing the resources which you have created. Okay, now while this is happening for you, what I will be doing is I'll be quickly running you through. We are going to talk about Bedrock today. We are going to talk about these all services, right? So how does it look like? You would be like, hey, Shang, how does it look like? I'm preparing for AI practitioner. What all I need to know? I didn't attend the first session. What all basics I need to know? So to get you all on the same baseline or to get you all on the same page, I'm just trying to show you. We are going to talk about Amazon Bedrock today. That is to one point for me to access all the models. I can give approval who can have access to it. With single API, you can access those models, right? We did talk about retrieval augmented generation. Yes. So how do you retrieve the data? How do you augment the user query? And how do you get the data back? If you have forgotten, we'll come across those terms once again. Fine. We will be seeing what are type of prompts, right? When we are going to talk about this one at the very last. We'll begin with 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So what was RAG all about? Retrieval augmented generation. I ask a user something, I want the model to respond. But the model was trained way back in past. I want today's data. Someone ordered something on Amazon.in today, but the model was trained way back in past. So I had to have a pipeline where I ingest the data. So basically, what am I talking all about? What was RAG all about? Retrieval augmented generation. What it was, all the data which is coming, all the input data which was coming, it was chunked into small pieces. And after that, we were doing vectorization, and after that it was stored as embedding into a vector store, right? And from there, whenever a user is asking a query, we were checking what the user intent is, we were embedding this as well, and then whenever a user is asking something, we check it from our vector store, we augment it, we pass it on to the model, and whatever output comes, we give it to the end user. Now you'll be like, hey, bro, I cannot do all of this on my own. So for that, we needed something which was called as managed RAG, and that's where knowledge bases came into picture. Knowledge bases for Amazon Bedrock will ask you four simple questions. First one would be, where is your data? So your data is in S3. Second, when you are chunking the data, breaking into pieces, what kind of chunking you will do, right? What kind of chunking you will do. So there will be chunking strategies, which I had explained earlier, hierarchical one, semantical one, fixed size chunking, and so on, right? So it will ask you, the second question would be, what are different type of chunkings? Once you do that, which particular model will be used for embedding? So we are going to use Titan model today, and you're going to see it in action. And where do you store it? It will be in open search, and that is a part of our lab today. We are going to see this in action. So coming back, folks, for people who didn't understand my handwriting or who are like, hey, what are we talking all about? And where do I get those screenshots or slides? It is right over here. Whenever a user is asking something, it will go into Amazon Bedrock. We'll check for knowledge bases for Amazon Bedrock. We are going to add that, augment it to the user query, and then we are going to send it to the model, and we are going to respond back, right? And these model options, we are going to see it today. So basically, you're not going to do RAG on your own anymore. If you want a managed RAG, you will go for knowledge bases, and that is what our lab 2 is all about, folks. Okay, I'm going to do step by step along with you. If you're doing it with me, feel free to ask me. I'll be happy to help you out. And my eyes are there on the chat as well while Parna is assisting you. Feel free to ask, feel free to interrupt us. And now, in the interest of time, I'll get started with creating a knowledge base. Okay, folks. So I'm opening my AWS account here. And what I will be doing is I'll pop this out and I'll split my screen into two parts. So I'll do this as right, and I'll take this one on the left one. Okay, so we'll read the instructions, we'll try to understand that, and we'll try to do it. Cool. So what is the intent? Intent is we are knowing or trying to understand knowledge bases. In this scenario, what we have done is all the share letters of Amazon, they're stashed into S3. We want our shareholders to understand what we have shared. We have created a quiz bot or a bot wherein I can ask questions. It can go through those shareholder letters and it can respond back to us. That is what we are going to do as a part of this demo. So firstly, we have to go to Amazon console. We have to go to Amazon Bedrock service. We'll have to create a knowledge base, always orange buttons. This is the knowledge base name which I have to give, right? And then it will ask me certain questions which I have to fill it. So I'll get started. This is my Bedrock. Give me a second. I'm looking for a service which is called as Bedrock, Amazon Bedrock. Easiest way to access all foundation models with a single API. Now I'll go to knowledge bases, folks. Okay. You want to see this a little big, so I'll keep it like this way. Now, here, I'll look for something which is called as knowledge base. Where did it go? Knowledge bases, right? Okay. We need to create a knowledge base. So we are going to create that. Four important things you need to remember. The first one is, what is knowledge base name? So we are giving a shareholder letter, right? Now it is asking me, what are the instructions supposed to be given? Okay, so are we giving any instructions here? Nothing. As of now, we are keeping it empty. As well as there are certain things it is going to ask me. So let's see, as and when we go. right? Where are the shareholder letters? Shareholder letters are stored in S3. It is existing already somewhere. The lab has already created it. How do I find it, Shashank? So what I'll do is I'll duplicate this tab and I'll look into S3. See this? And in S3, I'll find that particular bucket. You can navigate these things in knowledge base as well, but I'm just trying to show you. We have already created a bucket, and in that bucket, there's a shareholder letters, and these are the old shareholder letters which are being placed here. Okay, fine. So we are going to refer it here. So I'm choosing the data source, input source as S3. Yep. Tags, nothing. I don't have to touch anything here. I'm proceeding next. Now, now it is asking me where it is stored. So I'm browsing into S3. I'm clicking on here. I'm going into the partition which is called as shared newsletter holder, and I'm selecting the button choose. So this is where it is stashed. I'm choosing it. Now I'm going to the next option, embedding models. We'll be going for Titan embedding. So let's check it out here as well so that we are not mistaken. Embedding model. Embedding model will be going for Titan and we'll create the knowledge base. Okay, so let's just validate it once, right? This is Titan embedding we have selected. Vector is 1024. Vector store is open search we are going to create. And then we are going to hit the button create knowledge base. Fine. Okay, cool. So let's do that. We are selecting Titan embeddings and additional configuration is 1024 dimension, nothing changed. We are selecting open search. You could go for enterprise Redis, MongoDB, or all other databases which are supporting there. So right now, I'm just hitting next. I have reviewed these details and I'll be hitting the button create knowledge base. Very important thing, while you're doing this, while this is happening, do not leave this console. Else it may get aborted. So do not leave this console. Let it happen while we will look into the next steps. Okay, while this is happening, let's go through what we are supposed to do here. Okay, so now we created the knowledge base, folks. Okay, the second step is to sync with S3 so that whenever there is a fresh data, I can do an event driven activity. Whenever there is an input into S3, I can sync. But right now, we are going to do is a one time manual sync. And one time manual sync will do. And then we'll select a model and we'll start chatting with it. We are going to ask questions by selecting a model called Claude Sonnet. And we are going to ask questions what is Amazon doing in the field of generative AI? Okay, so I'll go slow, don't worry. I'm just reading the instructions, right? And I'm going to show you this is how we are going to do. If in case you feel we're going a little faster, you can pause, you can go here, see the instructions, listen to the video back again, and do it along. Okay, this is yet taking time. Fine. Okay, so we'll see here, come back again. So we are going to ask two questions to it. First one is what is Amazon doing in generative AI? And second is what is the vision of Cooper? Cooper, if you wouldn't have heard before, it is something we are doing in space satellite, right? This is Project Cooper, which if you want to read about, you can go and check it out. Fine. Now we'll wait for this to happen. By any chance, if anyone is doing along with us, do let me know. Happy to help you there. Okay. And people who have just joined due to daylight savings, perfectly fine. Eyes are there on the screen on the chat. And we are going a little slow. Don't worry. You will be able to catch up to speed. And we are waiting for this to happen. Meanwhile, you have any other questions, feel free to ask. I would try to answer live along with you. And thanks, Perna, for responding to all the questions there. Thank you. We are waiting for the knowledge base to happen. Meanwhile, you have any other questions to ask, feel free to let us know. Okay, I'll split the screens again into half. And knowledge base is really taking time. Perfectly fine, no worries. We'll wait for it. And to those folks who have joined us in the very first session, we had talked about knowledge bases. I had given an example of insurance agent. We are going to do that today along or live over here. So this is part of this lab only. So if you haven't started, please get started and we can do it along. Cloud formation is still in progress. Okay to hit the knowledge base creation? No, please wait while your cloud formation is taking time. Don't worry about it. You can do a little later along with me. That's fine. Because you would be needing the S3 bucket And your cloud formation, if it has not happened yet, it will take time. So let's not worry about it. Okay, see this, my OpenSearch serverless vector database is ready. So all I can do is go to the knowledge base. Okay, it has started creating the knowledge base. So let's not worry about it. Everything is happening proper. People who are like little running behind, it's perfectly fine. Listen to me and you could do it little later, right? And you can do it at your own pace. Rightly quoted by Perna. Okay, just have a look and it will be easy. Okay, now we created a knowledge base, right? We had to select a model. So I'm going to select a model. Before that, we had to sync. Already it is saying, please sync, right? So I have to go here and I had to hit sync so that it is synced with S3. Okay, fine. What it says, this is failed, you don't have access to this particular model, right? Tighten embedding. Okay, try again. So what we did, we jumped one particular step. We haven't given models access. So we'll give models access, right? This is how we learn, by doing errors and mistakes. We need two models to be given access. Access is granted to Titan embeddings, right? And I have to take this one as well. So I'll request this model access. And along with that, we are going to select another model. Which model is that, folks? Can you help me? It's Claude 3 Sonnet version 1. So I'll select Claude 3 Sonnet version 1. And I know it is this one. So I'm requesting for it. I'm going next. I'll request, submit, and within a minute or two, the access should be granted. Okay. So that is all Bedrock all about. You get access to models within a single click. And this error should be solved as well. Let's not worry about it. Okay, you see that? 403 was, hey, I don't have permission to access this model. So I understood I don't have access to it. We went to Bedrock, we gave model access, and we made it happen. Now let this sync happen. After this, the third step would be, you need to select the model and we'll chat and we'll ask questions to it. Okay, sync is done. So now we'll select the model, folks. We'll select Amazon, what it says, I don't have access to model. Okay, so let me do a refresh and let it show me a model. Okay, select model. It says model provider not there. Hmm. Let me check here. Sonnet is in progress. That's the reason. So we'll wait for it. Okay. And to the people who are planning for exam, just see the console. Good to know. Good to have this knowledge. Okay. Since this has not happened yet, I'm waiting for this to happen. Claude 3 Sonnet. And I think so it is done. Access granted. So let's try it. Okay. It needs a refresh. Perfectly fine. We'll do a quick refresh. Okay, we saw Anthropic, we saw Claude 3. I'm selecting it. And now I was supposed to ask two questions. What is AWS doing in generative AI space? So I'm hitting that run. It is running through my documents, which is already embedded, so it will be able to respond very fast to me. Now, I'll ask another question about Cooper. What is Amazon doing in Cooper, or what is this Cooper about, right? The stakeholders don't understand. They want to dive deep into it. So they're asking questions here, and the knowledge base will be able to respond within a matter of few seconds. Okay, so what is vision of Cupa? I showed you. It's a satellite project of ours, and it was able to respond. Now, folks, you remember I had said a word called hallucination. If I ask something to you, you may give me a wrong answer. You may assume something, and you may give me a wrong answer, which is not great if we are creating a finance application, right? I want accuracy. I want confidence in your answer. Only then I'll trust the bot. So, to increase the source of truth, to ensure that it is true, so what it does is it gives you a link from where it got. So if you click on it, it will show, hey, I got this data from here. You're getting it, right? Okay. So this is how we ensure that it is answering right. There is less of hallucination, no hallucination, and it is tying back to from which document it was able to respond to this question. Okay, right? Show source details. You can click and you can have a look. Fine. Getting it, everyone. This is all about your lab 3, the lab 2. I'm sorry. Okay. So this was all about your lab 2, and we can proceed towards lab 3. So what we looked for, or what we saw is, we were able to create a knowledge base. We were selecting S3 as an input source. There was certain amount of PDFs there. You can add your own PDFs. You can do the chunking. you can select a model and then ask the knowledge based questions. And based on that, you could get a response. Okay, that was a very small demo. And now we'll proceed towards a lab three, folks. Cool? Yep. Now, moving on to lab three, folks who had seen video one or introduction to Bedrock, where I had demonstrated an example of an insurance agent. I'm going to do it again very quickly, but this is what we are going to do live. I'm going to do it in front of you. Okay, first, I'll explain you quickly what it was all about without further ado. Okay, so now we are proceeding towards lab three, wherein I had reminded you about agents. I did say agents are going to break down complex tasks into small, small things without much lines of code. Okay, so that is where agents are going to come. I had given you an example of insurance company, which is called as xyzinsurance.com. Now, what did I say? There were 1 crore people and there were thousands of users who were joining the website. When the user base was 1 CR plus plus, there were hundreds and thousands of queries which were coming. Human agents were only 100 in number. Human agents were only 100 in number. Now, this user base, they grew up to 10 CR in number, which means thousands and thousands of queries were coming at one go. So, what was happening? We couldn't scale from 100 to 1,000 users because what if people go away? At that time, what am I going to do with 1,000 customer support folks? Right? So we introduced a concept of something called as virtual agents there. I had proposed this to you. Remember, I proposed this to my customer that we need to have virtual agents. What this virtual agents will do? Virtual agents will take up small, small questions so that when customer is coming to the customer support, at that time, they do not hear the word. Your call is important to us. Estimated waiting time is approximate 10 minutes. Please wait in the queue. While we get back to you, listen to that jazz music which runs in the background, right? And then the moment I get connected to that customer agent, I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. Help me with this, help me with that. What is happening, folks? When there were only hundreds of agents, what was happening? There was increase in the waiting time. That means the customer satisfaction score was decreasing, which means you could have gone to, instead of xyz.com, you would have gone to abc.com and get your insurance done, which means it could have been loss of business to this company, right? So what we are doing, our intent is to reduce this waiting time. How we will reduce with this much staff only? By introducing virtual agent. What this virtual agents will do, they will take up small, small questions like, hey Shashank, I have bought a car. I want to get insurance done. Can you tell me process to get insurance started, right? What all type of insurance you have? Then you may also come up and say, hey, buddy, my car met with an accident. What is the process of raising a claim? Yes, what is the process to create a claim? Now, I have created a claim, but I forgot to upload the documents and the window gets closed. Customer won't be happy, right? So we have to send reminders to the customer that, hey, Shashank, you created a claim, buddy, but I need your driving license. I need your car ownership details, right? Okay. Also, car met with an accident. Can you help me with the pictures, right? So we need data gathering. We need reminders to be sent to the customer. All these places we can use virtual agents, and that's where today we are going to see it in action. Okay, so this is all about your lab three, introducing virtual agents. Agents, okay, wherein we are going to put them into action. Fine. Yep. So tying back here to the image, what you're going to see on the screen, I'm opening this image in a big tab. So basically, you are going to say, hey, create a claim for me. It is going to hit agents for Bedrock based on your request, based on your intent. That prompt, we will understand what we are supposed to do. It will do that API call. It will create a claim for you. It will check whether your claim status is open or submitted. It will help you send a reminder to gather that evidence, which I said driving license, owner details, pictures, etc. Right? And then whenever you reach out to us, all those things will be simplified. Fine. How this works into action, how this knowledge base works, we are going to see it in action. Don't you worry about it. Okay? We are going to do these things today. Fine. So without further ado, folks, let me get started with that. Okay. Let me get started with the lab three. So we are going to see these things could be automated. We are going to do that. Okay. So let's get started, everyone. We are going to create a knowledge base first. Okay. After that, what we are going to do? This is a knowledge base we are going to create. We are going to give some instructions that we need to retrieve a claim amount and these things. Okay. So we are going to create a knowledge base. Have a look. This is a name. Instructions will come here. IAM permissions will be given. Data is stored into S3. Okay. That is the very first thing I need to do. So let's get started. We'll go back into knowledge bases. You may see few things may be repeated for the intent, for the heck of doing it, but please understand, you remember these things well. This is the knowledge base ID, the name I'm giving. This is a description I'm giving. IAM role, always I select new one. Data source is S3. And then we are going towards next. Okay. Where it is being stored, it is stored in S3. In S3, which partition I need to select, I'll have to check that. Okay. So let's see that. We did this things in S3. We have to select Bedrock 0 to hero. We have to go to insurance assets. This particular partition I need to select. Rest everything is same. Perfectly fine. I need to select insurance assets and then I'll move towards next. Okay. And then embedding will be this one only majorly, Titans embedding version 2. Okay, we'll check that. Embedding version 2, vector dimensions 104, where you're going to search, save it, open search, and hit next, right? So I'll do these things. Yep. Like last time, it's going to take good amount of time just to create my knowledge base. Yep. Till then, I'm going to show you what we are going to do next. Okay, what are we going to do next? We are going to sync it. We are going to fire some questions here, which we did in the previous lab too. Yes. Okay. And we are going to ask these questions. What are these questions like? Hey, can you create a claim for me? Hey, what is the diagnosis of this estimate? What is the resolution? My car met with an accident. I want to know how much is the claim amount, right? As a driver, I met with an accident. What are the next steps I need to do? Okay. How do I write a report? How will you deduct some amount? How does it work? I want to understand. All these questions will be taken by a virtual agent now. So we are going to see this in action once the knowledge base is created. Why agents would be needed? Agents will be needed to take some decisions. Decisions like create a claim for me. Right now, it is not able to create a claim for you. We are going to create an agent which is going to create a claim for you. So basically, we'll have something which is called as lambda create claim. It will create a new claim ID. It will store into DynamoDB and it will give you a claim ID for you. And the status of that claim will be open. The next time when you say, hey Shashank, can you tell me the status of that particular claim? It will say whether it is open or whether it is submitted or it is in processing. Okay, fine. So that will be there. And there will be another lambda as a part of our action group, wherein we'll see we are going to send reminder to people so that they give me sufficient amount of data and it will send an alert to people via SNS service of AWS, which will send an email to people. This is how virtual agents are going to complement human agents. And that's how we are able to reduce the load and we're able to scale. Okay. So that is what we are going to see it in action. Cool, folks. Yep. This is simple notification service and we're going to send an email to people. Now, this is what we're going to see it in action. Let's see. My knowledge base got created. It got created. So I'm going to the data sources. First, as a matter of hygiene, I'll do a sync. Okay. Now what it says, okay, sync is happening. After that, we'll go and select the model and we are going to chat with it. It is going to give me only static data. If I want to create something new, we'll have to go for actions, right? If we want some actions to happen, we'll go for agents. In agents, there is something called as action group and we'll create one action. The three lambdas, what you saw, we are going to create them in action. Okay, so let the sync happen. I'm doing everything live, so I'm a little sorry if it's going here and there. Don't worry about it. Sync happened perfectly fine. Claude 3 Sonnet is there. We're going to fire some questions to it, which are static in nature. They're already existing in the database, so it is able to answer. So for example, can you tell me what is the diagnosis on the repair? So what it says, something is getting modified. Okay, let's give it a minute and we do a refresh. Okay, it is asking me to select the model. Perfectly fine. Take this, and done. Cool. I'm asking again a question. Let's see. Ideally, it should work well. So it is going to get the status of this particular claim. It says, hey, your car is met with a front end accident and radiator is broken. And it is saying, I got these details from here. So you can go and see where it got from, what is the estimate looking like, and so on. Okay. Now, now I'll again go back here. I'll copy one or two more questions. They all are static in nature. It is just fetching the data. What if I want to create a claim? It won't work right now. Okay. For example, you say, create a claim for me. See what it will say. It won't be able to do it anything for you, right? It is telling me the process to do, but it is not doing it for me right now. To enable that, we have to go to somewhere called as agents. And that's where agents will come into picture. We are going to create agents, which is going to do something for you rather than just the static content. Okay, so we are going to create an agent here, folks, right? So we are going to create an insurance agent. This is insurance agent. I'll save this name as this way. This is the instruction which I'm going to give. And after that, I'm going to select a model that is Claude 3 Sonnet. And this is the instruction for the agent, which will come into picture. After that, after that, we are going to select the role, which is perfectly fine. This is a big instruction I'm going to give. Then what did I say? Lambda C to create a claim, right? So first action group, second action group, to do what? Gather evidence from the customer. Give me the data, right? And the third one would be send a reminder to them. So we are going to do three action groups in a single particular agent. Okay, so don't worry. I'll be doing it very slowly. Have a look and we'll just get started. I'm scrolling really slow. We're going to go to agents. We are going to create an insurance agent. So let me do one thing. I'll split this into left, this into right. Okay, fine. So we are going to create an agent. This is all important buttons in orange, insurance agent. This is a description which is going to come there. So I'm going to put it here and I'm going to hit the button, create. Okay, collapsing this, fine. And let this go. This is an insurance agent. This is a description. We'll create a new role, perfectly fine. I need some instruction in depth, which I'm giving it here, that you are a insurance agent. You have access to domain specific knowledge. You are going to open claim. You're going to gather documents. You're going to validate few things. Okay. So it is going to answer few questions and we are going to create is an action group. When will memory come into picture? Likewise, I had said earlier, if I'm going to a Hyderabad trip and if my customer is asking something more, so the agent remembers Shashank was supposed to come back on 16th, but he wants one day more. So they will be like, do you want it on 17th? You will say yes, and the tickets will be booked by you for 17th. So at that time, you can use memory and you can give it a try. Right now, we are not going to touch there. We're going to create action groups, 3 action groups. Well, before that, I'll hit the button save so that this much part of mine, it remains safe. We are going to create 3 action groups. One to create a claim. Okay. I'll hide these things. Okay. So that you can see. We'll go into Lambda create. Okay. Okay. This is for the create claim. Perfectly fine. We'll give the name this. We are going to give the description. We are going to use this particular one so as to create an insurance claim. Now, certain amount of logic is needed. I have saved that open API into an S3. So I'm going to select that. Okay. Now I'm going to say Lambda is already created in the background using CloudFormation. So I'm going to select an existing one. Okay. So I'm going to select Lambda. Okay. Gather evidence, create custom. This is the one. Create claim function. Fine. And then where is that API stored? So API, it is stored here in one of the partitions. So this is agent API and we'll select create claim JSON. And we are going to repeat this twice more for gathering evidence and sending reminders, folks. Okay. So this is happening. Fine. Now I'll go and look for gather evidence. I'll again collapse these things. I'll go back to action groups and I am going to select new action groups. Sorry for this UI. Okay. And then I'm selecting gather evidence, folks. Okay. We are going to we need to send a URL for the customers to upload the documents, DL and all. We'll specify the schema. I want an existing Lambda, which is created already. gather evidence, we are going to select, and then I'm going to browse here. I'm going to go here, open API schema, gather evidence, and choose this and hit create. So we created a second action group. Now we'll create the third one, which is to send reminders to the customer. So it is here. As you can see, I do not read everything. I just know these things are in different color and format. Either they are in bold, either they are in orange color, or that is process is called as skimming. It comes to me, I only read documentation, and you see, I only read what is needed. Okay, so we're going to send reminder. This is a description. So I'm going to send the description. In API schema, I'm going to select existing one, which is send reminder function. So we'll do that. That was supposed to be done here. I was updating it here. Don't worry about it. I'll just remove all the change I did. Okay, go, go, agent. I'll go slowly. Sorry. Send reminders here. Hey, hey. Okay. Action group. The last action group. Ah, ah. Send reminder. Sorry. Okay. Perfectly fine. Yep. Okay. API schema. I'll select an existing one, Lambda, and we are going to send reminder, folks. And I'm going to select where it is. So it is here, this particular partition, and this particular reminder. I'm selecting that, hitting create. So we created 3 action groups, and I'll hit save and text. Save and will test the agent. Okay. Now, since I don't have to refer much there, I'll go here. I'll do is save and exit. Okay. And I want to test it now. So I'll hit the button test. Okay. It says you need to prepare the agent to prepare for the latest changes. I'll go for hit prepare. Okay. Fine. And let's give it a try. Create a claim for me. Let's see if it understands that. What it says, access denied. Please check when Bedrock trace the steps, linear thoughts to see the results, knowledge base is summarized. Okay, something has happened. No worries, we'll troubleshoot that. Basically, that's not an issue. Test was prepared. Let's see if we give a typical question. Okay, we haven't added a knowledge base, folks. We haven't added a knowledge base. So basically, there's no knowledge base to get it for, right? So it needs a knowledge base. So let's go back. I'll go into agents once again for clarity. We have added this. Hey, garbage, go. So basically, we have created an agent, right? Edit. But does it have a source of data to it? There's no data. So we'll have to attach a knowledge base, the knowledge base, which was for insurance agent. And is there any messaging or instructions? Yes, this is an instruction. Go and get this data from the knowledge base whenever asked. So I'm adding it. Okay. And then we'll go down again and we'll see it is enabled state. And is there any sync? Nothing. Perfectly fine. So I'm going to go save and exit. And then again, I'll do is test. Okay. And why I want to test, I'll have to prepare it for the latest changes. So we'll do that. So basically, to agents, you have connected to knowledge base. Now, ideally, it should work, right? Just for the clarity, we'll check. We have done all these steps, right? Okay, fine. Now review the results in DynamoDB. We don't want to see that. We just want to ask first a command. Can you create a claim for me? And let's see what it says. Okay, it still says the same thing, I think so. Pre-processing orchestration. After running this, knowledge, da 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 da. Okay, I'll do a quick refresh and give it a try once more. Else, likewise, I said, everything is meant to fail. I do have a backup with me. That's not an issue. Okay, knowledge base is there, actions is there, and knowledge base is okay. It is there. Fine. Trace step. Let's see. what it says now. Okay, perfectly fine. I'm quite not sure why it is throwing that error. Show details, processing trace. No, not at all. Okay, there's nothing. Pre-processing we have disabled. That's fine. A quick refresh, and if it doesn't work, I'll bring my backup one handy, which is there. Let's not worry about it. Knowledge base is there. Have I missed something? Create a claim, prepare, we have done. Quite not sure why it is not reflecting. The last one try. It's perfectly fine when you do it live. I think so it's going to throw the same thing. Okay, perfectly fine. We have missed something somewhere. No worries. I'll bring the another one which I've already created. Okay, I've kept it handy. Let's not worry about it. So basically, I have created an agent here, right? We created something which is called as, hey, come and come. We have created something which is called as knowledge base, right? And these action groups were there. Let's test this particular agent. Create a new claim for me, right? It's working. It should work. Fingers crossed. Okay, it created a new claim for me, right? Now you'll be like, hey, bro, earlier it was just fetching the data. Now this it did dynamic. What happened? The agents for your knowledge base, they went to Lambda create. Lambda created had some logic. That logic, it allowed it to create a claim ID in the format you wanted. So basically, from here, okay, I'll duplicate the tab. Here, it went to something which is called as Lambda, folks. Okay, so Lambda, it went there. So we selected Lambda, which was create claim. Yes. So Lambda create claim will be there. Do you see this? It is here. This got triggered. Now, there was some logic here in it, which allowed you to create that particular claim in the claim ID format you wanted. All those things, where did it come from? From that Open API. It will understand. So there was code here also, and it integrates with my API gateway. So I need that Open API, which was stored in S3. Yes. And now it is going to store it into DynamoDB. So the claim which was created here for you, it is stored in DynamoDB. So you want to see whether I'm saying is true or not. Let's see that in action. So we'll go to something which is called as DynamoDB. Okay. And if I go into DynamoDB, now we'll go to tables on the left-hand side. We'll go to this particular table, and then we are going to see explore table items. And then we would be able to see this particular table is created, right? This is the entry which we saw. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So it just got created right away in front of you. Pending documents are there. These documents are pending from the customer. And this is a policy ID and the status is open. Cool. Yep. Now, coming back to our workshop, wherein we had to do something. I'll close this one as of now, and we'll go through the instructions quickly. So we created a new claim, right? Now we want to send reminder to people, or we want to see show me all open claims. So we'll see all those things over here. Okay. So here I can write show me all open claims. So it should include this particular claim there, right? So let's see it happening. Along with that, I'll just set it on my screen. Just give me a second. I'm doing the lab part, agent part. I'm getting those questions. Okay, so see what it shows. It shows all these claims are open. Now, as a administrator, I had to remind everyone individually. What if I want to send an email to everyone? So I'll be like, send a reminder to all open claims. Fine. So I'm sending that now. Yep. And while am I doing it, there would be some other customer who is asking me some other question now, which is text in nature. It can even do that for you. Okay. So what we are doing is these are all dynamic things. It sent a reminder to them, sent an email. It even noted the email reminder, right? And it was like, hey, these things are pending for you. And it sent an email to them. You can go and see here in the trace, right? So it went, it found that, it will send an email to each one of them. You can go and see this in a very depth. You will understand these things, that how it went, how it fetched those things, and how it did for me. Okay. As of now, I'm not going there. I wanted to go and check it out. Fine. Now, while I sent an email reminder, right? We created a new claim. We found the status of it. We sent a reminder to people. Yes. Now, what if someone is saying a texty one? What are the factors which determines our insurance premium? So it will even understand the earlier part, which was texty, only fetch. read, fetch, ingest, fetch, and get the data for you, right? But it was even able to do dynamic things for you too. Okay. So now there are so many claims which are open. You are like, hey Shashank, can you tell me what was the estimator has told after my car met with an accident? So basically, when you meet an accident, there will be an insurance agent comes who clicks the picture, who sends the estimate, sets the estimate for your particular claim. You want to know that. So you're asking this particular question, which is there in the database. It will go and fetch it from there and give it to you. Okay, so have a look. It is doing it for you in action. So what it says, I don't have afraid information. What it says, you could directly look into claim accounts. Could you provide me of details, total claim and so on? I'll be able to assist further. So it even knows I cannot tell everything. It even knows this messaging, everything. You can do it as part of guardrails, which I'm going to show you as a part of next particular section, that is lab 4. Okay, fine. So far, so good, everyone. Yep. Dynamic things is for an action. Flow, knowledge bases for Bedrock goes to Lambda, goes to DynamoDB, or goes to SNS, goes to the service which you have chained there. You can go and visualize these things by clicking on that lab instructions, and it will help you out. Now, coming to the very last segment, I'll just take 5 to 10 more minutes for talking about guardrails and where guardrails comes into picture. if you're using if you're using something like a chat agent, last time I had told you one simple thing, that if my application is into finance, I don't want my finance bot. So if I have created a Q&A into finance, right? And if it is recommending something to do, right? But if I'm saying, yeah, I have 10K USD and tell me stocks where I have to invest so that by end of this month it becomes 100K USD, right? And if my bot replies, and if you invest and instead of 100 it becomes 0 USD, you will come and grab me by my collar and you may even take legal proceedings on me. So basically, I don't want my model to give stock recommendations, even if it is in finance domain. So what I want to do is, in childhood days, if you are have played with a black ant, right? What we used to do is we used to draw a white chalk around it so that the black ant, it only revolves around it whole day. And once you are done with the sadistic pleasures as a child, even what we used to do is we used to open this much path and your ant used to come out of it. Until then, your ant was just revolving around it. What I want to tell you is similarly, if you want to put your model into it and you want to tell your model, this is a context, revolve around it, do not reply to under 18 plus adult content. Don't give adult content to child applications. What I want to tell you is if I'm telling, hey, this application, it should create some stories for children who are under 18, and to them, if you show an above 18 content, which is not good. If an application is talking to customers and if that application gives a cuss word to the customer, it is not good. If this is a AWS chat and if you ask about competitors to it and if it starts replying, you may not like it, right? So you want to block your competitors' words. I'm going to show this to you in action. And please remember, I have always been telling you, while I'm live here on this particular channel, I've given this exam 2 months back. Still, I may remember things and concepts which I'm trying to demonstrate as a part of workshop. Okay, so this is the last segment. What we are going to see, what we are supposed to do is, right? What we are supposed to do is we are supposed to implement guardrails, stop words, deny topics, and so on. So let's see that in action. That is lab 4, Bedrock for guardrails. We want to be responsible AI. So we want to add some bad words. So we'll create a guardrail. We will say that, hey, buddy, enable hate, insult, sexual, violence, and misconduct. Your model should not be responding to those things. Deny topic. My competitor, I'm into AWS. I don't want my model to reply about other cloud providers. So I can add them in denied topic. So for example, here, the denied topic I have added is Bitcoin. How do I Bitcoin on EC2 instance? How do I invest into Bitcoin? I don't want my model to respond to it. I have added it there, right? And then denied topics, we have added some phrases. Along with that, any company filter, right? Profanity filter. I don't want it to reply about my competitors. The bot is meant only for AWS. If you ask anything about any company, it should not respond. It should not comment, right? When you ask, hey, Alexa, how's Siri doing? What she says, but she won't respond you back, right? Similarly, I don't want it to talk about my company to any company. So we have added that here as a part of custom words profanity filter. I don't want it to talk about my customer. Also, if any PI data, your Aadhaar card details, or personal information details is being leaked out by the model, you can mask it, you can add it over here, and those things are done by guardrails. It's very, very important. You need to know these things, and I will show you in action. Contextual ground check. It will check against the source of truth whether it is referring. For example, when I asked, hey, what is a claim process? What are the type of claims? It was giving me a link, right? So that is your grounding check. That is meant to reduce hallucinations and ensure that your model is giving a right answer. For that, guardrails come into picture. Okay, so if you are like, hey, we ran a little fast, you can go here, you can see all those things. What is the on demand versus provision throughput? All these things, very, very, very important for you in your exam. Everything is given to you as a part of screenshot in this workshop only. So now let's see guardrails in action. First, what did we see? We had seen there were certain Bitcoin related questions. We are going to ask that. Okay, rather than me scrolling, we'll see it. Bedrock Guardrails, Bitcoin. There were some questions. How do I mine Bitcoin? Let's ask this to my model and see the way my model will keep quiet. Okay, so we are going back again. We'll go back to knowledge bases. Okay, here we have added something which is guardrails. That is for the safety, right? I don't want my model to speak anything more, utter more. So we are going to test it out here. How do I mine Bitcoin? And I'll select a model, Anthropic, Claude, apply. I'm asking this question. What it says, I intervened. If you can go and view trace, denied topic, I detected Bitcoin, right? How do I run Bitcoin on EC2? Okay. Again, if I run, it will be blocked because it detected those things, right? Content filter. Yep. Now, I want to ask, uh, is any company good? I want to check about my competitor. What feedback this bot has to give? What it says, detected any company word filter, blocked. Getting it? Okay. So now you'll be like, hey, really, this model does respond to what? Right? Does it respond to certain questions at least or not? It does. So let's see. Let's ask it one question. What is the lightest material on the earth which is connected to it? It is connected to knowledge base and it will be able to fetch it. Let's see whether it works. See, no action, and it responded back to you. Right? I told you about satellite project. So the data is coming there. So that's how we were able to do lab 2, 3, and 4, folks. And that's all from my end about the demo part. I tried to be as in-depth as I could. If you have any other questions, feel free to put it in the chat. We'll take it up. And now over to you, Parna. Over to you, Sharik, for the next segment, please.
Thank you, Shashank. Let me bring Parna back. I think Parna was quite busy answering a lot of questions, and we have some really interesting questions. So thank you, folks, for keeping it alive and asking your questions. One question there was initially, Shashank, I mean, which is
Sure.
like long.
Sure.
It was actually nothing technical. It was more
Yeah.
about, what tool you're using to write. So I thought it was ScreenBrush. Was I correct or?
No, I'm not using ScreenBrush. So, folks, what I've
Okay.
done is I've connected it to my iPad majorly. So this is connected to my iPad,
All
and
right.
this is Apple Pencil, which I draw while I speak on screen. So that's how I'm able to do it. Yep.
Perfect. Thank you for that, Shashank. There was
Sure.
that
No
question,
worries.
and then we had a couple of other
Yeah.
questions, but I think Parna, it's all taken care. If I'm not wrong, right, Parna? Is there anything we want to discuss before we move to the
No, I
next
think
segment?
it's taken care. So I
Sure.
think
It's taken.
because it might have been a little overwhelming. So I suggested that they should just watch what you're doing
All
and
right.
try it out later. Pause and do it. It may
Yep.
not have been
Exactly.
possible to catch up. Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
just to if it helps to if it helps everybody else as well. I was overwhelmed at some point. I thought it'll be kind of straightforward, but between the link what Shashank has shared, the workshop link, and this video go through, I think I have enough material to keep me busy for a week or so, if not more, because I have to go through every single detail. So if anybody's thinking too much of content, just to let you know, you're not alone. Right.
Yeah, this is
That's
too
And
much
that's
and
for
smart.
anyone.
and yep.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It is
And
like
doing it in an
almost.
hour, that itself is too much. But we wanted to
It
Yeah.
is.
do it, so that's why Shashank rushed through it because he wanted to finish it in an hour. But
Yeah.
obviously, when you do it at your own pace, take your time, try and understand, click here and there to experiment. uh, and that was great that when Shashank was doing it, there were some errors, right? This is life. It doesn't go straight line. You will also
Yeah.
face that. So yeah, so
Fine.
redo it and rewatch it.